I'm 65 and I want to tell you about a hormone most women have never heard of that controls whether your body stores fat or burns it, whether you feel full or hungry, and whether your next meal comes in 2 hours or 5. It's called GLP-1, and the most talked about weight loss drug in the world works by mimicking it. What nobody tells you is that you can raise your GLP-1 naturally through 5 specific food strategies that cost nothing and start working immediately. I'm Barbara Lawson. I'm 65 years old, and I want to be honest with you about something that took me a long time to understand. For most of my adult life, I believed that my struggles with hunger and belly fat were a discipline problem. I ate too much, I wanted too much, I couldn't stop when I should have stopped. That story made me feel ashamed for years. What I finally learned is that hunger is not a character flaw. It is a hormonal signal. And when that signal isn't working properly, when the hormones that should be telling you to stop eating are too low, or the hormones that should be keeping you satisfied between meals are insufficient, no amount of willpower changes the outcome. You will be hungry, you will overeat, and you will store fat, particularly around your midsection, because the underlying hormonal environment is set up to do exactly that. Understanding this changed everything about how I approach food. And the 5 strategies I'm about to share with you are the ones that changed my hormonal environment, naturally, without medication, and without hunger. Before I get into them, I want to ask you something. Have you ever felt like your hunger was out of your control? Like you could eat a full meal and still feel unsatisfied an hour later? Have you looked at women who seem to eat normally and stay lean and wondered what they're doing differently? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one this week. And if this is already resonating, please like this video and subscribe. I make these specifically for women our age, and I don't want you to miss what's coming. Let me first explain what GLP-1 actually does, because understanding the mechanism is what makes these strategies make sense. GLP-1 is one of the incretin hormones, hormones secreted by the cells of the intestinal lining in response to food. These hormones have 2 primary jobs. First, they tell you to stop eating by creating a sense of fullness. Second, they keep you full between meals so that you delay eating again. They do this through 2 mechanisms: by slowing gastric emptying, which means food stays in your stomach longer and keeps you feeling satisfied, and by acting directly on the brain's appetite center in the hypothalamus to suppress hunger signals. When GLP-1 levels are low, both of these mechanisms are weakened. You feel hungry sooner. You feel less satisfied after eating. And your body's fat thermostat, the hormonal system that regulates how much fat you carry, gets pushed in the wrong direction. The drugs Ozempic and Mounjaro work by artificially raising GLP-1 and its related hormone GIP. They are effective precisely because these hormones are so powerful. But you don't need a prescription to raise them. You need the right foods. Strategy 1. Eat more dietary fat. This is the one that surprises women the most, and I understand why. We were told for decades that fat was the enemy. But studies consistently show that dietary fat, particularly healthy fats like olive oil and butter, raises GLP-1 significantly more than carbohydrates do. In one study, participants who paired their meals with olive oil or butter showed dramatically higher GLP-1 levels afterward compared to those who added carbohydrates instead. The practical application is simple. Add healthy fats to your meals. Olive oil on vegetables, butter on cooked food, avocado, nuts, fatty fish. These fats trigger the incretin response that carbohydrates largely bypass. Strategy 2, eat more protein. High protein intake is already well known to increase satiety, but the mechanism is more specific than most people realize. Higher protein directly raises GLP-1 levels, which is why a meal built around protein keeps you full for hours, while a meal built around processed carbohydrates leaves you hungry again quickly. In particular, branched-chain amino acids, found in dairy products like yogurt, cheese, and milk, appear to have an especially strong GLP-1 effect. Increasing your daily protein intake is one of the most powerful things a woman our age can do for both body composition and hunger control. Strategy 3, eat more fiber. Unprocessed carbohydrates that come with their natural fiber intact, vegetables, legumes, whole grains, produce a very different hormonal response than refined carbohydrates. When fiber reaches the colon, it gets fermented by the gut microbiome into short-chain fatty acids. These fatty acids then interact with receptors that boost GLP-1 secretion. Additionally, fiber is bulkier than refined flour. It moves more slowly through the digestive system, keeping the stomach distended and the fullness signal active for longer. The practical takeaway is to eat carbohydrates in their whole, unprocessed form. Choose vegetables over pasta, whole fruit over juice, legumes over white rice. The fiber they contain does something for your hormones that the refined versions simply cannot. Strategy 4, eat more bitter foods. This one surprised me when I first learned about it. We have bitter taste receptors on our tongues, and it turns out these receptors, when activated, may trigger incretin hormone release. Bitter melon and bitter gourd, which are traditional foods used for centuries in many cultures for the treatment of blood sugar problems, have been shown in studies to significantly raise GLP-1 and produce profound blood glucose lowering effects. If bitter melon isn't available in your area, other bitter foods and vegetables, dark leafy greens, arugula, radicchio, can activate similar pathways. Adding bitter foods to your diet regularly is a simple and powerful way to support your incretin hormones. Strategy 5, curcumin. This is the active compound in turmeric, the bright yellow spice used in curries and traditional medicine for centuries. Curcumin has been shown to have a significant GLP-1 effect. It raises the hormone, which reduces hunger, lowers the glycemic response to meals, and supports fat loss. Adding turmeric to your cooking regularly in soups, sauces, roasted vegetables, or mixed into warm drinks is one of the simplest additions you can make to your daily routine with a real hormonal benefit. I want to be clear about what these 5 strategies do together. They don't just suppress hunger in the moment, they recalibrate the hormonal system that regulates how much fat your body wants to carry. When GLP-1 is consistently higher, your fat thermostat shifts down. Your body becomes less inclined to store fat and more inclined to release it. Your appetite becomes genuinely manageable, not through willpower, but because the hormonal signals that control hunger are finally working the way they're supposed to. I spent years fighting my hunger and losing. I blamed myself for every meal that went too far, every craving I couldn't control, every pound I couldn't shift. What I know now is that I wasn't losing a battle of willpower. I was living with a hormonal disadvantage that nobody had ever explained to me. These 5 strategies gave me back control, not by making me eat less through discipline, but by changing the hormonal environment that was driving the problem in the first place. If this video helped you understand what might have been working against you, please subscribe for more strategies that actually work for women our age. I'm Barbara Lawson. Thanks for watching.